Yo, back again with another 2K video. You know, this is not just my team, it's also my park. I want to go over my park first, but like, why 2K16 thrived more than 2K23? Because you remember the community was growing, everyone was, it seemed like was popping back in 2K16, and now hard to know what the state of 2K is nowadays. But I just remember having so much fun in 2K16. I remember playing my 5'7" point guard, grinding his badges back then. But it gets so complex when you're trying to figure out why. Because on my team side, it gets complicated. I feel like on Park it comes easier to know, but maybe y'all in the Park section can let me know. Because I've been playing Park. You can get more reasons to why it has. But I just remembering this, like 2K16, like just look at these prices. Like 1K VC, if you look, like they're just going through it. 1K VC 550, say 800. Like you could switch multiple clothes on. You can put on different gear everywhere. Like you could actually do that back then. I mean, you could like try on different stuff. I remember like wearing my hoodie, then using a couple VC, wearing a different outfit. It was so much quicker, so much faster, because you didn't have to run around, feel like you're jogging every second for a core, you know? Nowadays, I'm gonna go switch it just to here. Oh my god, it was so much harder to find it, but I end up getting there to the side how it's supposed to go. But like when you just go and you try to buy stuff like nowadays, let's see how much it costs for some Puma shoes. I wonder how much it costs. Let's go up, let's see how much it costs. Can I click it? How much it costs for some Puma? 9K VC for some Puma shoe. For one pair of shoe, it's 9K VC. Like, remember back then, you could wear multiple clothes. You can go in, you can try, like, let's see a hoodie. 7,500, 6K. I mean, everything has gotten significantly higher. Like, it's like, man, this is supposed to be a game where you have fun. Try on different outfits. It was cool to try on some different, it's cool to put on a different hoodie. You want to play with that, or different animation. It didn't cost like a ridiculous amount of VC, and I feel like that has hurt Park a lot. I feel like a lot of people have stated that, and it's just like I remember playing with Magin, Tayshawn, and I would use my 5'7" point guard. I was grinding my badges up. I was just grinding the game mode. I was playing it, having so much fun. We were being in the Park group together. I would be using them. I remember Caldy would hop on Park sometimes and do the Jackstrap Cowboys. We all wear yellow, and it was just fun for the community. It was thriving. It was like, it was a whole lot of fun back in 2K16, like with the Park. And also, like, that also could be a factor. There's way too many badges in the game to have to grind. Or I don't know how the grind is now. I just remember it not being that bad. I don't know if it's bad now, but I feel like it is. Because you gotta do, there's like 60 in the game. Then it's like, there's so much more restrictions. The way you can boost a player. So now they have a thing where you can't boost them too much. It's like, so many restrictions. But let me know in the comments section, how do y'all Park players feel about the game? Is the gameplay? Is it because of the restrictions they made to it? How do y'all view why you like 2K16 or older 2K17 Parks compared to the 2K23 nowadays? But yeah, we're gonna talk about my team and why. My team, though, it gets a little complex. I know it more. And it gets a little complex to break it down because they have a lot of similar things we're going to get into. Okay, like when you hop into my team, right? From 2K16 perspective, looking in, if you recall 2K16, we did not get many locker codes back then. If you remember, I'm gonna pull this up real quick. You know, when you look on the MyTeam perspective, if you're not into MyTeam, there's a thing like locker codes, like the way they give it in Park as well, in MyTeam. But it's if you're like Park, but back in 2K16, we didn't even get locker codes that much. Like, if you recall, like 2K16, we did get this Corey locker code. I remember this dynamic Corey locker code back in the day. And now if you look at the similarity today, as you can tell, we don't get any locker codes today. If you scroll down and you look under 2K's, one or 2K's posts every time, every single time, and you look under it, let's see if I can find, drop a locker code. I mean, that's like one of the first comments. They don't even drop locker codes anymore for us. So it's not like they haven't done similar things. And then when you go to the moment content from back then, and you even pull that up, when you go back to the moment content, like we had this Jimmy Butler 96 overall. If you recall, in 2K16, they did not give us that many moment cards. Like, moment cards were very rare. So they're honestly the way they are this year are like they were this year. You know, maybe, and someone will say, well, maybe it worked better that year than this year. Like this year, we only get one moment card, and we're lucky to get trophy pieces. So they seldomly did it. The only big difference I see is the cards were a lot better at the time of 2K16 in terms of like their overall, and like the cards weren't as juice, but in a way you're seeing like a similarity. And also about the pack odds, you can make an argument that 2K16 pack odds were as bad, were worse, I mean they are worse than 2K23 pack odds. But why is 2K16 more alive? Why is it that when you go back to an old video from Jesser, because when they did eventually boost the odds in March, but like you go back to an old video and you check back, that video has you go back and you look, they have 1.7 million views. So many people cared about the pack opening for 16 compared to MyTeam content today. Sure, that was when it was a lot, they boosted the odds, but sure, that is a big, MyTeam is like things they're just doing wrong. So we clearly see something's wrong. And they're doing more content now. I heard people say they need to drop more broken cards, but people forget, like, MyTeam was thriving when it didn't need broken cards. So why is it just we need more juice cards? I mean, I feel like that's just not a correct answer. But my thing is, a lot of people don't bring up is about 2K18. If you recall, in 2K18, right? If you recall, in 2K18, they literally, remember, they got rid of, like, the auction house, like, rip sniping. Like,
you guys are probably wondering,
they even mentioned,
you're just gonna have to keep pressing X and start, X and start, X and start the whole time, just waiting for a snipe to pop up, which means sniping will be so difficult this year. And
yeah, sniping became a live auction house. And a lot of people do not bring this up when they bring up MyTeam and the issue with it. Because remember, back then, Merc and you, I remember Jay back then, there were so many sniping streams. Imagine today, if you as an auction house refresh every 15 minutes and you have clutch time online to go to, and you and us in chat will be writing 8s and 9s multiple times in chat, and like you can hop in a clutch time online game, a TTO offline game. But this got changed. In 2K6 it was a thing, 17, but 2K18, I mean that's when they dropped the mess of a game, they got rid of this. And now you start wondering, no one brings it up much, but I think it did have a good impact. Because I remember playing games with people before the refresh would start. It would be like communities, and then as soon as they got rid of it and put the auction house alive, so many of those channels died. instantly because of that. And now sniping, instead of being a community thing, people in community being together, playing with one another, it became more of a just one for all or just by yourself type of thing, and it threw the all the thing together with it. If you recall it, if you do remember it as well. But that is a good point that someone don't bring up very often. I think that is it. That has a problem. And also another similarity you can remember is Throwback Thursday. Remember Throwback Thursday? I know it was old, but nowadays we usually don't even get content on Thursdays. If you remember this guy Los Poilos spent 7 mil on back in the day or two? God, I remember it. And I remember Throwback Thursday, how much hype people were. I remember Jesser, like when the odds were terrible for most of the year, but it still had people hype, people doing the wagers. And you couldn't back that too, is banning people for wagers at the time. That could be 2K flaw. Banning people for wagers, that was adding in more hype for your game, because that made people then scared not wager no more. That took away a competitive aspect out of the game because 2K wanted to stop it. And that was, in my opinion, I don't think that's smart. Because clearly now they don't ban people. They haven't really banned people much for moving MT recently. But like now you look back at it, if they just never started to begin with, and they left it the way it was and didn't start banning people, because that could have thrived. We would have competitive matches for MT.
What's up, everybody?
And you remember Jesser, they hyped. Like, it's just when they juiced the odds, they had people hype.
It's like a trampoline chair. Holy shit! Oh,
Like, we're just remembering this, remembering the community, remembering going on Twitch, looking at the community, seeing like people just grow a lot more, seeing people like. And the odds weren't good for most of the year, but people did not care. Now you also could factor in, well, 250k being a thing, but it's not like 250k. I mean, wagers were more competitive because you were watching content creators play one another, and you can argue 250 ruined it because comp players now are a thing, so it's harder for creators to play each other now because so many players on different skill level compared to back then. But it was just a thing, and I feel like 2K banning people it just hurt the mode a lot. Hurt the mode, because then you made people not want to do it no more. But it's like, it's very hard. It's really hard to know, because like it's really hard to pinpoint how. Is it because 2K16 gameplay was better? Or is it just because we all just gotten older and we just gotta accept we're getting older? I don't know. So I'm gonna ask y'all that question. Why was 2K16 more alive even though it had some similarities to 2K23? Even on the park side, I haven't played it that much, so there's probably some similarities as well. Let me know in the comments too why it has died more. I feel like the city, but it's hard to know because I don't play park as much anymore. So it's like, it's hard to know. I just remember used to having so much fun. I remember Imagine, he used to be an old player in 2K I would play with. It was fun. It was so much. Tayshawn, it be wearing the jaw strap cowboy, Caldy in the chat. It was like, it was so much fun back in the old times. Seeing the community. Now, hard to say what this game is anymore. But yeah, let me know in the video. We can have a discussion, and we can have an understanding as well why you think 2K16 and older 2Ks thrive better than 2K23. So see y'all in the next MyTeam video. Gee!